As expected, I know quite a number of people have been expecting this. Lawyers, CSOs knock Wike over altercation with soldiers.
Stop that!
I'm an officer, I have integrity.
Shut up, you're not good
Sir, I
officer.
will not shut up.
Will you get out?
Sir, I won't shut up. Sir, I'm a
I
commissioned
was in
officer.
school, you're not in school.
Sir, you can't shut
Will
me
you
up.
keep quiet?
You can't
Get
shut
a
me
big
up, sir.
fool.
I'm not
You're
a
a big fool.
I'm not a fool, sir.
We thank God that he put it in Wike's mind to always go around with pressmen, or else we would have missed this entirely. And only God knows how the story would have gone if there were no visual evidence. Now, you will remember that Captain Blades has been here a couple of times, and he has always talked about the new set or the new kind of officers that Nigeria has in its military. The officers are young, they're intelligent, they're well-trained. 25 years ago, it's highly unlikely that the incidents would have gone that far yesterday. But I give that officer's kudos for standing his ground. Whatever could have happened, you don't go and tell an officer, or anybody for that matter, even if he's a civil servant, that you're a fool. And the guy calmly said, I'm not a fool. I also like when the young man said to him, I am an officer, so I have integrity. I do not lose sight of that statement. You need to look at that video again and again and again and again. Sit back and think properly. Then you will know that that video itself, the whole incident itself, is like some divine wake-up call for those, for Nigerians, especially those in power. Now, the gentleman has become the face, he has become the face of the military, somewhat, in this saga that we have. Wike behaved very badly, and I have said over and over again, I hope he does not become the undoing of the president. And this incident that happened yesterday has to be treated with a lot of caution. Most people are waiting to see how the president is going to handle this issue. Our politicians have to be very, very careful. What was the whole hula baloo about? A retired vice admiral is laying claim to the land, is putting up a structure. He sent soldiers there to guard them because people from Wike's, from the FCT, were harassing his people. All Wike needed to have done is just write a strong, a quiet memo to the chief of naval staff and report the incident to him. In fact, he could have done it by telephone. He didn't need to go there himself. He didn't need to go with the paraphernalia he didn't need to go there with the whole rabble that he went with. I would like to advise the president to quickly de-escalate the situation by doing the right thing and putting this man on the sacrificial whatever and sacrifice him. If this issue is not taken up properly, I don't want to imagine what will happen. Because this gentleman now has become a face. They even have emojis made of him, you know. Mm-hmm. He has become a face. And the young people of this country have found a face in the military that they can idolize. I mean, look at the fact that the tall man is clean, is handsome, is whatever, is well-spoken, very firm, but not rude. Why do you go and call somebody a fool? And the guy said, I'm not a fool, sir. But what I found most profound in all that scenario was when the guy said, I have integrity. I'm a uniform soldier, I have integrity. Is he implying that the minister don't have integrity? Remember that this soldier is just like you and I. He has access to all the rumors, true or false, all the criticisms, true or false. He is just like you and I. He has everything. He's not from another planet. And he also now probably has his own views politically, like most young people. All said and done, I hope the president addresses this thing very quickly I would advise maybe he should even reassign the gentleman or just let him go.
How do you think the military should handle it?
The military will sit and wait. Because what I'm seeing is that even the officers would have been surprised at that young man. They've trained them, yes, but they'll be surprised. They'll be proud of him on the one hand, but it's also a wake-up call for them. The days when you used to call officers zombie, and Fela Sangisa, those days are gone. For somebody who grew up in a military situation, if it had been many, many years ago, it might not have happened. You could have had, yes, sir, yes, sir. But the caliber of officers you have now is reflected in that young man. I was ready. Look at how he stood tall, how he comported himself, how he, the most of the ranting was done by the minister. The minister pushed some people. You saw the video now. So there are two versions. There's a longer one. Yeah. And it was the minister that was rattling. He just stood there coolly and said, I have my instructions. I'm going to stand by them. There was no need. How can a minister be involved in land issues directly in that manner? If you sent your people there and there was a problem, you pick up your phone and call the chief of... In fact, you could have even called the guy. Okay? Or called the chief of naval staff. And they would then give the order to the guys to evacuate the place. I think the gentleman might lose the land eventually, though.
Okay.
We're depending on what papers he has and all that. But the president should not ignore it. He should face it squarely, immediately. It's not something that should be allowed to linger, because if you look at the social media, that guy is becoming a hero. And there are certain things I won't say on air, but but when I think of other countries, something there is, like Bob Marley said, there's a natural mystic flowing in the air. If you listen carefully, you will hear.
Some would say that the ministers are serving at the pleasure of the president. Would we say that Minister Wike was doing the same? Yes.
The president didn't send him to go and act in a disgraceful manner.
Oh, it was disgraceful?
It was disgraceful. The whole thing, because there was no need for him to get directly involved. Even if you got there, you could get there and call the officer aside and say, what's going on here? And the guy says that, oh, blah, 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 blah. He said, okay, can you leave the place? And the guy said, no, okay, not to worry, I'll handle it. Then you call. It's so simple. It's so simple. If he had put on a call directly, he would have gotten a response. He said he called somebody, though. I don't know whatever that. I think he said he called the CDS. I don't know.
He called somebody right there at the scene. We don't know who he called.
We don't know who he called.
And he let the
he claimed that I think he called the CDS and they told him the matter will be resolved. When they have told you that the matter will be resolved, why didn't you just go back in your car? He wanted to prove a point, telling the guy how he was graduating. The guy was in primary school. That you don't talk to a man in uniform like that. Oh my God, there's something sinister about watching like a live match or a live musical performance or a drama performance. You expect something to go wrong. That's the excitement of watching something live. Yeah. I was hoping. I forgot that I was watching the recording game. All of them away. He lost his temper completely.
He lost it.
And if he was, I'm sure that if it wasn't for the paraphernalia of whatever that he saw, he almost would have slapped the guy. And tell him, you're a fool. You don't talk to people.
So there's something that also stood out that I think a lot of us aren't paying or did not pay attention to. And that was how some members of his entourage, what they were saying to the military officer.
Well, it's part of the problem that we have. You find that most people's jobs are not protected, so they are not professional, so they can't do. So they have to show loyalty to him. How would you go back with him and say you be DSS officer? Couldn't you? You know, you understand? So they too, but you can see initially they were taken aback, and they stood back when they got to up to a point. Then one of the DSS people in the suit said, "This is a minister. You have to remind them." And the guy just told them firmly, "I have my instructions. I have my instructions." That guy is not going to walk away from that place because you said so. Mm-hmm. No way. Mm-hmm. We had it on very strong rumor, for example, during Buhari's time, that Rashibajo wanted to attend the meeting. And it was said at that time that, sorry, sir, your name is not on the list. And he just went away quietly. At the initial part of
meaning someone stopped the vice president.
Someone stopped the vice president. And he just, JB, it's just like me. If they don't want me here, fine. That rumor was very strong, so it must have had some element of truth in it. But what is most important is that it cannot be thrown under the carpet. The guy has become a hero. He has become a symbol. And his other younger officers are watching.
Yes, they are. They watched.
They are going to watch that. If we because whether you like it or not, there must be some element of the soldiers, if care is not taken, quite a number of them must have some contempt for the way the political class has handled itself.